the CEO 101. It is with new team members at GitLab. It's a monthly thing, and new team members get to ask about anything. Christina, you have the first question. Thanks for putting it on there. Can you verbalize it?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. This is Christina Hoopoe. I'm the new Senior Education Program Manager. And GitLab, and when I talk about GitLab, I'm specifically thinking about the software, the platform, the product, the all remote model, and then the I'm not even gonna say it, the operation of the values and the culture really has the potential to disrupt many aspects of higher education. And I'm thinking here about pedagogically, culturally, operationally, as well as the content that the next generation of workers are learning: DevOps, Git management, open science. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on what role you would like to see GitLab playing in influencing higher education, and then the broader workforce development and the next generation of workers, and what do you think is a priority?
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, there's a couple of ways in which we can contribute. One of the ways is making all remote more popular. With all remote, we can spread opportunity more equally around the globe. And I think that's one of the big improvements we can make in our generation. Second, I think remote learning is a great way to acquire skills without accumulating too much debt. And I think Lambda School is doing a great job running that. I think that one of the few problems of Lambda School is that you need to pay yourself, or you need to sustain yourself while you go through the education. And that's why I personally made $1 million donation to Lambda School to have them start a stipend program. And so far this year, they've already handed out more than $2 million in stipends, which is I think it's $1,000 or $2,000 a month thing, so that you can keep paying your mortgage and for your kids and everything else while you go through the program. And it's on a as needed basis. The third thing is GitLab. GitLab, of course, through convention over configuration, we try to make it very easy to kind of learn DevOps. Another thing I think should do is having tests in GitLab, so you can quickly learn a new skill. And that skill can be both something like learning how to use feature flags, where you can kind of click through GitLab and go through all the steps and show that on your profile. But I think we can also have tests for all remote. We already have the all remote content. We still need a test. And then the test result should be shown on your GitLab.com profile. Why not make the test in GitLab as well? Since we already need some kind of testing capability for all the other DevOps skills we need. And since we know about the positive effects of dogfooding, we might go a bit further and say, look, some things that are specific to GitLab Inc., the organization, we put them in GitLab the product as well. For example, a test about our values, like making sure that people have read and understood our values. And you can have a multiple choice test to verify that. I think we can put that in the product. We should probably put it behind a pretty obvious banner, like, hey, this is about GitLab the company, not GitLab the product. But I think it would be a great way to kind of use our own kind of testing product. And also, I think people want more connection with companies, and this would be a way for people to see whether our values resonate with them or not. So I've made a document about that the last week, and since you're in this business as well, if you want to call about that more extensively, please let Emily Cherio know, and we can hop on a call together to discuss.
Great, thanks for your input.
Thanks for the question. Lindsay, you have the next one.
Yeah, hi, Sid. So this will be switching gears a little bit. So I'm Lindsay Olsen. I just started as a senior community advocate. And I think a lot of us new folks are really excited to attend Contribute 2020 in Prague next year. So I want to know who chooses the location, why Prague, and in your own words, what we all can expect from Contribute.
Yeah, thanks for that. I'm excited to attend too. It's always a lot of fun and very interesting. The location is determined by the events team, so the corporate events team, and they look at things like, are the facilities there available to like house a lot of people close to each other? Do we have like the breakout rooms? Is it an interesting location to visit together? Is it affordable, both in the location itself and like what we spend there, but also in flying everyone in? How are the connections airline wise? So those are the considerations, and I think we've always went with their proposal. So I don't determine where we go, and it's a intense week, but everyone always reports that it's a lot of fun, and that's the reason we have over like 85% of the people at GitLab attending. Thanks for that, Robert. You have the next one.
Sure. Just people I know describe GitLab as having a lot of momentum, but one thing I don't know a lot about are what are some of the facts and figures that kind of back up that thesis that there's a lot of momentum.
Yeah, I think momentum is commonly seen as growth. So we're growing, we're more than doubling year over year, and at our scale, that is quite uncommon. You'd expect a growth rate of, I don't know, if at this scale, like you'd have a growth rate of 60%, and you're more likely than not to get to $1 billion in revenue. And we have a much higher growth rate than that. So I think that's the momentum people are referring to. And then the nice thing is that momentum is, while being pretty cash efficient, like we have more ARR than the money we spend, and with a really good gross margin of over 85%. So the higher your gross margin, the higher your future profitability. So I think those things together make for a great future. Because if you play that out over time, it's possible for us. We have the publicly stated goal, November 2023, to be at $1 billion of revenue, still probably at a very high gross margin, and still probably growing. And that will make for an amazing company. Edward, you want to verbalize it, your question? While Edmund is working on his question, Corina?
Hi. So my question is mainly about the future. I know it's quite tricky, so sorry if you can't answer it all the way. So we started as a single app for DevOps, which for me is really, really nice. But everyone is soon catching up. So about related to the future, what does it look like for GitLab?
Yeah, I think it's going to be super hard to catch up. So I think we see now that, for example, GitHub, since, okay, let's say a year or half a year, they saw the momentum we had with customers. They started also to build a single application instead of the marketplace tactic they had before. They've done a good job last half year. They shipped package and they shipped Verify. And Verify was based on the Azure DevOps code base. So it was a hard decision maybe, but it was relatively easy to ship. Package has now been out for a while. I haven't seen any package types being added to it. And I don't see them working on release, defend, monitoring, our secure solutions are much more extensive than theirs. And at the other side, on planning and compliance, they're not adding a lot as well. So I think it's just super, super hard to kind of execute or like make a lot of progress in all these areas. And I think there we have a couple of super powers that people are unlikely to replicate. First of all, because of our momentum, we can hire more people, we can invest in the future. So we're doubling kind of our R&D budget from, I can still say these things, from 50 million last year to 100 million next year, which is an amazing amount of money to spend. We can hire the best people all over the world. We don't have to hire everyone in San Francisco, which increases kind of the cost per person, but also decreases retention. We still have an amazing retention of 85% year over year. And then we have the support of a much wider community with 200 improvements in the product coming from the wider community every month. And those advantages are very hard for the competition to match. And on top of that, we have our value of iteration, which makes sure that we are amazingly efficient per engineer, and that we have very little canceled work. So that is a tough act to follow. And you'll see other companies trying to become broader as a solution. For example, JFrog bought Shippable, a CI solution, and then Cloudbeast Jenkins bought a CD solution in Electric Cloud. So you'll have people expanding, but I think it's really hard to keep it a single application. So you can add different pieces to it, but it's hard to keep it a single application. I think the main competition is GitHub, and right now we're shipping much faster than them, and I don't see that changing in the future. We're only getting bigger and better at what we do. Does that address your question?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Thanks. Edmund?
Yeah, sorry, I missed that earlier. So similar to education, do we have a plan to promote GitLab and incubators around the world, partner with them? I'm in Toronto, where there's Mars, for example, Discovery District, a lot of AI and machine learning work. And it seems like these smaller, up and coming companies largely develop their platforms using microservices, which just seems like a really good fit for what we have as well.
Yeah. Right now, the only thing we have is a deal for Y Combinator startups. I asked, like last call with Tom, we discussed it, and he said there's nothing, we're not putting any more effort in that program for now. So I think if you want to see change there, you will have to be that change, maybe opening up the program to other incubators or things like that.
Thanks.
Thanks. And no need to type. If you have another question or remark, feel free to shout it out. If not, thanks for joining GitLab. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.